Have you been looking for a Taekwondo podcast with qualified people who know what they're talking about, who help you keep up with everything going on in the Taekwondo world? Well, you found it. This is the Taekwondo Podcast. Taekwondo news, competitions and other events, training and sports science, keeping the fans, coaches, and high-performance athletes up to date with the latest news and trends on Olympic Taekwondo. Let's do this. This is the Taekwondo Podcast. And now your hosts, Coach César Valentim and Peter Nessler.
Hello and welcome to the Taekwondo Podcast. We are a podcast based out of Austria, in English language, for everyone out there who likes Taekwondo. In this episode, we talk with Ariel Longo, sports scientist and strength and conditioning coach. We'll discuss how the new rules impact S&C training for high-level Taekwondo players. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Coach César Valentim, and with me is Ariel Longo, S&C coach to several Taekwondo players. Hi Ariel, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm fine. Thank you very much for inviting me to this podcast, and I'm very happy. Thank you.
It was something we've been talking about for a while. It's happy that you are finally available to be on one of our episodes. I know you very well, but for everyone out there who doesn't know who you are, can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
For sure. I am Ariel. I'm a conditioning coach, and I work with many athletes and level for World Championships and the Olympic Games. And now I work with many athletes for the both modalities.
Yes, you do Taekwondo and Karate.
Yes, the both. And I like it. But I born my business in Karate first. And after this, I come to Taekwondo, and now I work with the both.
It's interesting because you work with both national teams and Olympic athletes on two different sports that are very similar. But let's talk about Taekwondo. This is, after all, the Taekwondo podcast. You've been following up the changes in the rules, and your social media has some interesting videos of the exercises you've created. Can you share with us your thoughts behind those exercises?
Yes, for sure. I created this. I love to create the new movements because I understand the high level athletes need to news because the rules change all the time. But when I create one movement, I try to explain for the people. They don't know when or how they use these movements. Only copy. This is the problem with the people because people look at this and try to do. But this is important when you create one movement. You put for back this concepts about the trainment, and you explain for the athletes why they do this. This is very important for the feeling inside the training, you know. And I create these movements for help the athletes to improve yourself about the new rules, because I understand after they change the rules, the Taekwondo have a little change the style of the fight, and I think now the athletes need more agility, more making decision, more reaction, because the fight is too high, and you need to improve your physical condition.
So you're talking that with the new rules, the matches became much more intense, and the speed, especially on the reaction speed from the players, needs to be developed more than a few years ago?
Yes, perfect. I feel this, and I read in some articles, and I remember 2011, 12, the pacing for fight is 1.2, 1.4, rest and effort. And now I think this is more intensity than before, because when the rules change, all sports, nothing only in Taekwondo, and all sports, the dynamic inside the fight change, or dynamic inside the competition change.
Well, you're talking about the rate of effort and rest in the matches, and that was something that when I first read the rules and I tried them out in the club, I noticed that the intensity and the workload was much higher, so 1-to-1 on the work to rest. But when I saw the Panamerican Championships and I saw that the matches are interrupted so often because of the video replays before the head kicks, the work and rest changed drastically.
Yes, perfect. This is happened in the Pan American Games, Pan American Championship, and I saw this. When you have the video replay, the problem with the rest is a long time the athletes waiting for the results, and they're waiting for using this for rest. But I think in Grand Prix and Homa, I think the rule is more right, and is good for the athletes. The athletes need to prepare their body for the new rules, because I think it's possible the rules is more right in the next competition.
Yes, that's something that I think we've mentioned in the previous episode as well. After the Grand Prix in Rome, we will have a better understanding of the work and rest ratio, especially with the referees and video replays being much faster and not so often used as they were in the Pan American Championships. But regarding the new rules, something that actually makes me wonder a lot is about the clinch time. Before, you had 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds of working on the clinch, a lot of upper body strengths, a lot of isometric strengths, a lot of resistance, and now you're not allowed to stay so long, and you are not allowed to stay in the clinch without kicking. That definitely changes the kind of upper body work that you have to use. What have been your adaptations to that kind of training?
Yes, the biggest problem for me in my fitness training and the training for athletes is the clinch, because the athletes is too fast, but there's not resistance for the clinch. And now you need to fight inside the clinch and outside the clinch. This is very hard for the athletes, because some athletes lose the weight and don't have a strength, too much strength for fight inside the clinch. And this is the problem, the first problem. And for me, the steps and agility, and before the Taekwondo, agility is very important. And metabolism system, for oxygen system, this is very important too. But for me now is more than before, because you need to fight inside the clinch and outside the clinch, and you need to move your body and hold the pressure for your opponent, because when your opponent lose, your opponent come to you, and you need to resist this. This is very hard now for athletes, I think.
So you're increasing your training plans, the parts where it comes to aerobic capacity and resistive strength?
Yes, and I do this for anaerobic resistance. This is important, but I do many resistance training for repetitions, because athletes to do inside the fight, and I put in my plans and all athletes resistance training more than before.
And you're talking about not only lower body, but upper body as well?
Yes, for sure. Because this is another tip, because the athletes training, because it's Taekwondo, I will training my legs, my lower body is important, because I kick, I move. But when you clinch, your arms need to do pressure in your opponent, and you need to use it too much arms for gains space, or close, or fight inside, or punch. And it's important you work in your upper body, because if you don't train this, your conditioning, you lose your conditioning inside the fight, because you lose too much energy inside the clinch.
I saw you that the videos you've been posting on your social media, that you are working a lot on core, especially on the front planes.
Yes, I do this in core, because many athletes talk with me. Hey, when I am inside the clinch, I feel my body go back. When the opponent push me, I feel my body back. But after we work the core, in the core, the people understand the core is only abs. It's not this. Core is my back. Is I don't know the name is.
The trapezius?
Yes, and the back, all middle of your body, but you have specific muscles inside your body for your work, for improving your core. This is important for you block when your opponent coming with you. You block for you not move, because when your opponent push you, he have a specific strategy. Back this, he push you for do one movement, not push you for only push you, and you need to stay strong for block this and use your force for combat your opponent.
Yes, I've seen your exercise. You focus a lot on diagonal change, front and back chains, and then entire core workouts that allow you to go to the clinch and then go out and or counterbalance the resistance from your opponent. That's very great, nice tips. In the end of this episode, I'll link your social media accounts so that you can share a little bit. Let's take a little break, listen a little bit to our sponsors and partners from our podcast, and we'll be back soon. This podcast is supported by Hawken Dynamics. Hawken Dynamics believes that technology is most useful when it stays out of your way. That's why Hawken developed the world's first wireless force plate system with extreme usability. It is the quickest, easiest to use, and most robust solution on the market. It is trusted by all sports organizations large and small, as well as tactical, military, and rehabilitation environments around the globe. It's force testing in the palm of your hand. Here at Taekwondo Center, we use Hawken Dynamics to test and monitor our team. The cloud-based platform allows us to access data and publish a variety of reports on the go. My favorites are trend reports and, of course, weight reports, where I can monitor different metrics to view progress and identify performance indicators, or to compare weights to a baseline data range. I use it on a daily basis to identify readiness. A simple jumping test takes me less than a minute to assess the entire team. Having my own Hawken Dynamics force plates allows me to test reactive strengths, maximum strengths, rate of force development, asymmetry, and so much more. The real-time feedback on the app is useful not only for testing, but as a training tool, making it more accurate and at the same time more engaging for the athletes. If you are interested in learning more about Hawken Dynamics or getting your own, the team can be reached at info@hawkendynamics.com or on Instagram or Twitter @HawkenDynamics.
This podcast is sponsored by First Beat Sports. First Beat Sports combines the most comprehensive analytics in team sports with a customizable interface to support real-time monitoring, recovery monitoring, performance management, and much more. The result? Data-driven decisions that support your athletes and team training, recovery, and performance goals. First Beat Sports is trusted by professionals. Over 23,000 athletes representing over 1,000 teams around the world rely on the solution to train and plan with confidence on a team and individual level using HRV-based insights. For more information, please visit our website, firstbeat.com/sports.
When talking about Taekwondo training, we need to talk about Athlete Analyzer. Athlete Analyzer is the first Taekwondo-specific athlete monitoring system. It is used by both national teams, regional squads, and small clubs to maximize performance, prevent injuries, and communicate with both athletes and trainer teams. Athlete Analyzer is a cloud-based system with a friendly smartphone app. You can plan and monitor every aspect of your training, even when you are not in the gym with your team. The easy-to-use video analysis tool is not like anything you've seen. It helps you understand your athletes and even their opponents, making this app the only tool you need to manage your team. Before I used Athlete Analyzer, I spent an absurd amount of time in front of the computer, creating spreadsheets and using half a dozen software solutions. I have athletes in my center, but also abroad, and with Athlete Analyzer, it's much easier to communicate, plan, and monitor their development. Now that I have extra time, I can focus on what matters, training my athletes, and it still leaves me some room to do other stuff, like this Taekwondo podcast. Athlete Analyzer offers you a 2 weeks free trial. Visit them at athleteanalyzer.com to sign up, or click on the link in the episode's description. To get the most of your free trial, I recommend you first book a free personal demonstration with Nicholas.
It will give you a great insight of what Athlete Analyzer has to offer you and your team. It is well worth the time.
You're listening to the Taekwondo Podcast. Now back to your hosts, Coach César Valentim and Peter Nessler.
Welcome back. We've been talking to Ariel Longo, strength and conditioning coach. Ariel, you've moved to Rio de Janeiro recently and are working with some of the new players and coaches. What is your role in your new Taekwondo club?
Okay. I work now with one athlete specifically, is Milena Titoneli, and I support Diego with ideas or with new strategies for the fitness training. And I have worked with many athletes, not inside Rio de Janeiro, but in outside. I have many athletes, included the Brazilian team, national team in Taekwondo. But my work in there is work close with Diego, is coach for Brazilian team, national team, and I work with him for improve his club and help him about the conditional training and if in one future new future it's possible we're working together with Diego and with all athletes and Paulo and all athletes. I work with them.
So you're now working only with Milena. You've been working with her before. That's the reason why I actually moved to Rio de Janeiro. And now with the club, you're also talking about working with new athletes. What are your strategy and the techniques that you want to start using in the Taekwondo club that's starting from scratch with you?
Yes, I have many devices here, and I use this for monitoring and understand about how the athletes improved more the abilities. And I use this devices and the technologies too close and the fitness, the strength training. And now I use the example, the Beast or some applications for reaction time, and I use the one pedal with reaction time too. And I use many devices for control the training. And my strategy and the plan inside the team now is understand about how the athletes feel when you put fitness training and technical training, Taekwondo training. And some clubs have control only for the Taekwondo, but forgot the fitness training. And it's important you put the both together. And I try to help Diego understand this, because before Diego have Taekwondo alone, and after Diego put conditional training together. But now I try to connecting the both and explain for him the importance for how important is you control the both together.
Yes, many clubs do that. They have Taekwondo training only, exclusively, and then they send their athletes to the fitness studio to do some kind of program, sometimes whatever they want to do, not even an integrated program. And some other clubs try to get a more holistic approach and have the technical part of the training and the partial part of the training that is development phase to be also integrated, the strength and conditioning. I think it is, in my perspective, the best solution. I know that Ramal and many other trainers do it, that strength and conditioning is a part of Taekwondo training. Sometimes the transfer is easier if you do a partial training or partial technique training, and other people prefer to have a more traditional strength and conditioning muscular group approach, and then do a specific training that doesn't have too much connection or very little transfer. But again, that's the development of the sport, and I think it's nice to see you take such approach in clubs that are already bringing athletes, bringing your expertise as well will definitely make them better and make them a powerhouse in Rio, because Brazil is a big country and I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yes, and I think this is a new vision for our because you are conditional coach too. This is a new vision in our area, because you understand the people, the professional people and conditional training understand now how important is this. Before we think, okay, I do the strength training for athletes and no problem. And now they understand that my work is not to do the training, it's control the training, control the load, control the physiology, control the stress, I need to control or try to control all. And after this, I do the feedback with coach, and I try to help him to make a decision, one good decision, and for the next training. It's important you have this control close, day by day or training by training, because if you control one time in a week, it's good. It's better than you not control nothing. But it's important to control very close. Training by training is important.
Yes, and especially these days, athlete monitoring is much easier. When you do athlete monitoring with these tools that are collaborative, that you can have all different coaches from S&C to technical to physiotherapists to medical department combined and have access to the data instantly with very cheap, very affordable solutions like Athlete Analyzer or even a heart rate variability with First Beat Sports. There's no reason for you not to monitor your players, and monitoring the load is one of the biggest concerns that you have to have either as a S&C trainer or as a technical coach. In 2 days, I'm going to the European Championships. Actually, when this episode is going to be aired, I'm already in Manchester for the European Championships. And you have to make sure that your athlete comes into optimal conditions to the big event. And how do you do that if you don't monitor them? It's guessing, and guessing doesn't work.
Yes, perfect. And before the Panamerican Games, I do, after Milena rest a little time and recovery her body, and I do the test for jump squats for understand the power, understand how much she's tired or not. And I saw her body improve it, and the next day more, and the next day more. And I think, okay, this is perfect moment for she travel and they go to the competition, because her body, you need to considering the jet lag is important too. I recently in they put one article, I remember 2021, article review about jet lag, and you feel you understand how much things you need to take care for understand about the jet lag. It's too much things. It's not only travel, 6 hours or 7 hours, you need to do this or this. No, you need to use the compressive, specific compressive for the legs. Inside the flight, you need to use it. Drink too much water inside the flight. It's important because you dehydrated inside the flight. It's too many things. But the people considering this and don't understand the travel, only because here is hard for us, because we need to cross the Atlantic Ocean, and for us this is all the time is hard when you go to the Europe. It's not like you are in the Austria. When you go to the France example, you go very fast. Here is too far.
Yes, that study was a very good study. It was a consensus study about the travel fatigue and the effects of jet lag on athletes. And it mentioned the short duration, the frequent short duration, and jet lag situations. It's a very good one. We should probably do another episode just about those strategies and the results from that consensus study, because it was dozens of specialists on sports medicine and sports science. It's a very good study. And as you know, the counter movement jump to measure fatigue is It's amazing, especially when you have those little tools you can carry in the pocket or a cell phone app that you can use. They're not my sponsors, but I really love the Output Sports, that little device. We've played with it a lot. Allows you to have instant feedback on fatigue. And also, of course, hundreds of other tests like power outputs, reactive strength index. There's so much you can do with those little devices. If I could, I would bring my Hawken Dynamics 4 plates with me every time. They're obviously the best tool in my toolbox, but it's not practical when you go for a weekend competition to bring them just to do a test. But the tools are out there. Social media, of course, also helps share the knowledge and get access to some information. And talking about social media, if people want to know more about you or reach out, where can they find you?
Yes, my social media is Ariel underline. The name is Robert. Is Robert, like you say, and this is in Instagram. Is normally I reply all people inside my Instagram. I don't have a problem with this. And if you need some information, send for me one direct there, and I reply you, no problem.
Okay, we'll make sure that we link you on the podcast Instagram page. We'll tag you on Tuesday when this episode is aired on all our posts and our Instagram stories, so they can reach out to you. Thank you, Ariel. It was a pleasure being here with you again and with everyone who is listening. This was the Taekwondo Podcast. If you haven't already, listen to our other episodes that are available wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are releasing new episodes every Tuesday. Stay tuned, subscribe to the podcast, leave us a positive review, and share it with your friends. See you next time.
You've been listening to the Taekwondo Podcast, keeping the fans, coaches, and high-performance athletes up to date with the latest news and trends on Olympic Taekwondo. Your host, Coach César Valentim, has almost 20 years of experience with high-performance Taekwondo and has worked all around the world as a Taekwondo trainer. Peter Nessler has been teaching Taekwondo for more than 20 years, and he's currently one of the top referees in Europe. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram at Taekwondo Podcast, on Facebook at Taekwondo Cast, and the website taekwondopodcast.com. See you next time.